Hey everyone, this is 1 a.m. post-editing Chase, just coming in to tell you that we recorded this episode more than a month ago. It was like May 18th or something like that, I don't know. Steven thankfully says it partway through, but I know you guys are going to have itchy fingers wanting to comment earlier, so just remember that this video was recorded without the knowledge of E3. It was more than a month out, we had no idea what was coming, and so some of our statements regarding Three Houses are kind of outdated. So just keep that in mind.
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Lords and Mercenaries podcast. I'm your host, Steven, and with me I've got my two co-hosts, Chase.
Hey!
And James.
Hello.
This episode is about Fire Emblem replay value, even though one of us is the only one who's replayed a Fire Emblem game. So this is going to be an interesting discussion. Personally, my stance on replaying Fire Emblem games that I've played already, I don't need to. Like, there is no incentive to go back. That's just my that's my thought process on it now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I was to make Awakening harder, just play it on Lunatic because the game is so easy in general anyway.
I disagree, but okay.
Well, for me it was, because all I had to do was keep units in groups of 3 and I had no problem. for my playthrough at least.
I've heard that Awakening is generally considered one of the easiest games in the series.
Sorry, you cut out there. What?
I've heard that Awakening is considered one of the easiest games in the series.
Fair.
And then in Fates, they nerfed the pair-up system to the ground.
Well, Birthright is far easier than Awakening ever was, but...
Right. Although I wouldn't know that because I haven't played it yet, but I will at some point. But yeah, for me, that's the only one I want to replay. I know that Radiant Dawn has some replay value, and that the end game, I can't describe it, of course, because James is currently playing through it right now, but some of the cutscenes in the end game do change on your second go around.
We kind of had this conversation, what was it, like episode 1? I
think so, yeah.
And but we agreed that Path of Radiance is the game that requires the most replays to get every character.
Say
15 times through.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then wasn't there one that was like 11 or 12?
Yeah, and then Binding Blade requires you to play through like 10 times to get the last character.
No,
but what's the incentive to do it that many times?
Get the character.
But like, why?
I don't know exactly how supports work in Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, but in the GBA games, each character can only get a maximum of 5 supports total. Like, not support lines, 5 support conversations. So if you want to get all those support conversations, you're going to need to play through a lot. Not to mention...
That's true.
Binding Blade has 2 different times when there's 2 separate pathways you can go down. So 2 separate sets of like 3 chapters. You can do one or the other.
Right. So I guess that's another reason to go back, is to just get all the supports that you missed.
Yeah. I told you guys a little bit about what I've been doing with Shadow Dragon, right?
Yeah.
I feel terrible. It hurts in my soul.
But you're doing it anyway.
Yeah, I'm doing it anyway. I've gotten Ymir. I've gotten Etzel. I like Etzel. Etzel's a good guy.
Oh,
sounds
man.
like pretzel.
It kind of does. You're not wrong.
Sure.
But
yeah, as far as like hardcore replay value, I can't imagine 100%ing those games. I applaud anyone who does. As a matter of fact, it would probably be a good idea to have How Long to Beat up, just to see how long it takes for a completionist to do these games.
I think like Gerard the Completionist actually did FE7.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, it's the only.
What's the subtitle for 7?
It's called The Blazing Blade, but it didn't have that until Heroes came out.
Okay.
Since it was just the first, well, at least in the US it didn't. Since it was just the first Fire Emblem game to release
it
here.
had that subtitle in Japan.
Yeah, just not here.
It just wasn't translated. Right.
Let's see how long it took him, like hardcore completionist who does a lot of completing, to beat this game.
The average for Fire Emblem GBA for completionists is 54.5 hours.
Huh.
So that'll get you pretty
Really?
Yeah, it took George 58.
For Fire Emblem GBA.
Yeah.
Like to do it all?
Yeah, to get all of the characters, play all the chapters, get all the sound clips, and all the support conversations.
Now, did he enjoy it?
He didn't consider 100%ing it to be worth it. He enjoyed the game, but not the 100%ing.
And that's generally how I feel about a lot of Fire Emblem games that I played. I mean, I don't know. I mean, some of them like Fates and Awakening, I don't know if they have very much, like, if you play the game, you get another character. Maybe Awakening does, but I don't think Fates does. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I'll just look at Fire Emblem games the post game.
Yeah. But I feel like in general, you play the main game, you get through the credits, and for me, I'm good. Like, that's great. I don't need to automatically go through the chapter again. Especially if I have to start from scratch, like, you know, it's not New Game Plus style.
Yeah. Has Fire Emblem ever had a New Game Plus?
I don't know.
Not as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
Or like bring anything with you on further playthroughs. Outside of new units.
Yeah, outside of units, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean, kind of in Echoes, if you save your stats to your Almond Silica amiibo. Why am I not speaking right now? So you can kind of bring back your old Almond Silica in a way.
Yeah. So basically, it's a one-hit kill for 10 HP.
And one. You can bring back knowledge, I guess.
Well, you can do that for every Fire Emblem game. Just bring back knowledge of how to do things.
I thought that was like a stat or something. It was like, what?
Yep. There you go.
Your knowledge stat is up. So, and it's not necessarily I'm opposed to replaying a Fire Emblem game. Although to be fair, when I beat a game and see the credits, I'm not always itching to like replay it again. You know, it kind of, you know, I made it to the finish line. It was a great journey. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of done. Right. But at the same time, like, I did enjoy the game. I do enjoy the gameplay. So I'm not against playing it again. It's just a lot of times there's just something new that comes up. Another game I want to play. Yeah. And that just kind of takes away from, well, you know, or it leaves with me a quandary, if you will. Do I play a new game or do I replay a game that I've already, you know, beaten? So, you know, I'm usually going to pick the new game. Unless there's downtime. Now, if there's downtime, which there has kind of been in the Switch's life, it's not crazy to think, oh, maybe I'll pick a Zelda game I finished or a Fire Emblem game. Now, Zelda games are shorter than Fire Emblem games, but
yeah.
For example, I had done some videos on Fire Emblem on my YouTube channel, and I felt like that I needed a refresher on Awakening. So I did pick up Awakening again, and I decided to do it in hard mode. And I was going in through hard mode, and I was having a good time and not trying to get my characters dead. But then more games came out, so that took away from my focus. So I haven't finished that playthrough. So in that sense, like I really haven't had the chance to play through Fire Emblem games again. Maybe if there's like a grand drought where nothing ever comes out, heaven forbid, I'll be able to do that. But I mean, there's always something taking my time.
Yeah. One thing that definitely helps the replayability of Fire Emblem games is most of them, at least here in the West, a very good portion of them are on the GBA DS or 3DS, as opposed to the GameCube, Wii, and Switch. Although the Switch is also mobile. And I'll touch on the whole Three Houses thing later, but you can continue to replay Fire Emblem games wherever you want with the Game Boy and DS
Yeah.
and the 3DS.
Pretty
So
available.
that does help.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Makes car rides and train rides a little
Mhm.
easier, or more time efficient, I guess you could say.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that sense, against it is if you wanted to replay the Talius games, that would be difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you were saying, what you're saying, 15 times is how many times you have to replay Radiant Dawn in order to
Yeah. 15
get all the
times you get
characters.
Ashnard.
I mean, that, or was it Path of Radiance? Maybe Path, but anyway, that is just insane to me because the game itself, well, maybe Radiant Dawn is longer, but Path of Radiance is still quite a long game, and having to play that over and over again is just
That's
seems
true.
one tedious, but also almost a waste of my time.
Where are you? What act are you in right now?
In Radiant Dawn,
Yeah,
I'm still in Act 3, but
that's the longest one.
Yeah, it's the longest one. Got to the point where Alencia, like I just had a chapter with Joffrey. It's a short chapter, but Alencia has been forced to let Benion's soldiers into her place, and Ike and the Gallia people heard about it, and they're not too happy. So
Yeah.
going into that,
And like
Um,
you've been on that train for a while.
no, not really.
Well, when did you start playing it?
I'm confused.
I'm talking about like you've been playing Radiant Dawn for a while.
Oh yes, I have been playing. Yes, that is correct.
Mm-hmm. When did you start? Do you know?
Probably. When did I start? February or March of like last year, I think.
To the YouTube.
Mm.
Yeah,
off to
the
YouTube. Let's find out.
To my Let's Play.
Time to tell
But
them
no,
about
you're right.
300
It has been a long time.
Yeah.
I would have gotten it done like last year if I wasn't doing a Let's Play. The Let's Play has been a little bit constrictive in how fast I can do games because I have to commentate on it and make sure I have no distraction whatsoever.
And then the editing.
Right. So it normally I'd probably get the game done in a few months for how big Radiant Dawn is.
Yeah, there was a time when I Let's played Fire Emblem, so I definitely get your issue there.
According to How Long to Beat, out of 65 people who just said main story in their playthroughs, 42 and a half hours.
Okay.
You released the first episode at the end of January 2018.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's been a while. It has been slow, I will say that. One also like I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, like, because for a while there I was like chapters ahead of where I was in the Let's Play episodes, and so I had to like take a break. But anyway, but yeah, 40. You said like 48 hours, 42 hours,
42 and a half, yeah.
42 and a half hours.
Main plus extras is 56 and a half.
Yeah, I'd guess you're probably around the 35-ish hour mark, maybe. Yeah, that's what I'm going to guess. With, like, you've had some long episodes pretty recently.
They're so long. Yeah. I think I'm like in around the 32-hour mark, which is kind of concerning. Well, I guess it's for me, it's like whatever. Like, I kind of, again, I take longer at video games. Mm-hmm. So, but hearing it's 42 hours and I don't feel like I'm necessarily ending chapter 3 yet or act 3 yet. I don't know. I guess we'll see how long it's going to take me. But either way, I think Radiant Dawn might be the longest game. We may need to fact check that, but it's incredible how long the chapters go.
I think Radiant Dawn does have at least one of the largest casts in the series.
It's true. It is huge.
And I guess the people on howlongtobeat.com don't care about the replays of it to get all the characters or the second replay to get that 2 extra cutscenes. Because apparently of the 9 people that gave their completionist runs, the average is 60 hours. So I guess that just means the first playthrough.
Okay, well that makes me wonder if it's 60 hours. Is that on top of the original playthrough?
No, I think it's just the same playthrough, the first one.
But that wouldn't be a completionist rating.
Well, that's what How Long to Beat tells me. That's what I'm saying. Is like they just don't care. All those people who submitted their times.
So okay,
because it would be much longer.
So maybe. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how it works, and I guess kind of going off topic there, but
what speedrunners think is
yeah, what is speedrun? Because if it's like, okay, you beat the game, now you can play it with all your OP units, kind of like a New Game Plus kind of thing, and get the secret ending. That would make so much more sense.
Yeah, Main Story Rushed has an average of 27 hours and 33 minutes.
Yeah, so speedrun.com doesn't have a 100% rating. They just have.
But back on the topic of like replaying Fire Emblem games. Do we know in Three Houses if you choose you choose one of the three main characters, right?
Yeah.
You choose one of their houses to teach, correct?
So in that sense, you could replay it twice. Because then you would choose the other ones.
Going into some new details that we have, there's also a calendar. Like each month, I think they call it season, but each month is basically a chapter, is a mission, and there's 12 months in a calendar in this world as well, which means there's at least 12 chapters that you have to play through. Now, whether or not there are more. Like there's more than 1 year. I can't say. We don't know yet.
It makes sense to go through 1 year.
If it's just 1 year, only 12 chapters, there could be potential that they want you to play again with the other houses, and then maybe there's something at the end.
Yeah, I kind of
granted that would be quite long.
I've said this before. I'll say it again. I'm getting a lot of Fates feelings from this whole Three Houses.
You think
thing.
so?
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, very much. I am feeling Fates.
I disagree. I feel like it's more along the lines of how Alm and Celica had like separate maps, kind of a thing.
But you're not going to be switching back and forth between the three.
True, you're not gonna. That's true, and you have two separate games in Fates, but I don't know. Maybe that is more like Fates than I.
I would want
bad.
I would want to replay the Three Houses once and just choose the other two students.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what I would want to do because I want to know what the changes are outside of just the armies.
Yeah.
Then, huh?
Well, it all depends on like how they go about doing it. Like, if you choose one house, are you going to eventually recruit other students from the other houses? Which I don't think so, but is that going to happen? Is there? Are you going to have to replay the game in order to get the full story? Who knows? I
feel like that's what they're going to be going for with this one.
Yeah, which I'm personally fine with. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, the more I look into it, the more I'll be okay with it. As long as it's not like your first playthrough is actually, 40, 50 hours.
Yeah, we don't know how long one playthrough is.
Yeah, that is the question.
Because I think the reason why I'm kind of like, wait, I don't know about comparing it to Fates is because each game was like 40 for me, like 40 something hours. And then that was, or maybe it was like 30, but still it was long, and it made getting to the final one very I loved it, but I also was just like, I want this to end already.
Yeah.
And I hope Three Houses doesn't have that is I guess what I'm trying to say.
And I hope that Three Houses isn't as like polarizing as Fates in his playthroughs, because I mean, I don't know how. I've never played Fates, right? But my impression of it is the Conquest one is crazy hard.
Mm-hmm.
Birthright is crazy easy, and then Revelations is in the middle.
Yeah,
And
that's a fair assessment. Honestly,
Yeah.
I feel like maybe I've said this before, but Revelation should have been the game itself, and then just Birthright and Conquest should have been just side stuff, like maybe even DLC. I don't know.
one of the main, well, that's what Revelation is. One of
No. I don't think you understood me. I meant
I
like
know.
Revelation. Oh.
Huh?
What? I'm
Like-
confused,
What's going on?
Steven.
That's what Revelation is DLC. That's what we have. But what you're saying is different.
Oh.
I recognize that.
I thought you were saying that that's what it was. Or...
No.
Okay.
But the one problem with replaying Fates is that it costs money.
Uh-huh.
Which is
Yes. That's another thing that I don't like the comparison to Fates is that you had to pay for 3 like other games. You don't have to do that at 3 houses. It's all there.
Well,
Granted, it's
one
more
and a half.
expensive to begin with, but
yeah.
it's still all there.
Yeah, the one game is it's still less expensive than getting 2 versions of Fates, I believe.
Correct.
Yeah, because Revelation is $20, I believe. If you already own.
Okay, so like, getting 3 houses as a whole costs as much as getting 1 game in Revelations.
That is true, yeah.
Indeed.
So you still have to pay the extra. Is it another $20 or $40 for the third one?
But the main difference, and this is
It'd be-
completely off
I don't
topic.
know. I don't know if they give you a discount.
Because it makes sense to have a discount for Revelations, but I'm unsure
Hmm.
if you get a discount for the other base game.
I mean,
I don't remember.
this is a little bit off topic, but the main difference between why why Fates costs 40 and why 3 houses cost 60 is production value. But
I think it's more
that's
system.
beside the point. Well, yeah, system and
Sometimes,
production
yeah,
value.
sometimes that's the case.
Yeah.
Full price games on the
You
Switch.
get put it on the system, yeah, you get the $60 price.
Yeah, full price games on the Switch are 60, full price games on the 3DS are 40. But either way, you would have to pay more, because I don't think we want to pay $60 for a 3DS game, but you would have to pay more than the expected price to replay Fates. Like, replay the other paths. Or play the other paths, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of goes into the conversation we had before recording, to where I don't want to pay as much as the game I already bought to get the extra content.
Oh, so we should be
for
accounting.
my own games.
We should be accounting Fates into our how expensive the 3 Houses DLC is going to be. We're going to jack that price up.
We'll have that discussion soon, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Before,
let's save our DLC
yeah,
discussions for when they do
everyone
announce.
to know, we were making
3
fun of the
Houses
Echoes DLC before we started playing.
And
before
also
recording.
why we're saying
right.
this, why we're saying this past our E3 episodes is because we are recording this on the 18th of May.
Oh yeah,
So that's where these comments are coming from.
yeah. We don't know what's going to be happening at E3, and this is releasing after
Yeah.
E3.
But
So,
yeah, that's
yeah,
the
I
main
mean-
problem with the Fire Emblem, the new Fire Emblem breed, is that to replay Fates, you have to pay more money.
Yeah, I think they learned from their mistake though. Well,
I sure hope so.
I would hope so, because, like, obviously it didn't sell. Well, I think they sold more than Awakening, but one game individually didn't end up selling more than Awakening did. So perhaps they look at that, and then Echoes didn't nearly sell as well. Unfortunately, it sold well enough.
Well, that's
though.
because it's a remake, and remakes are never going to sell as well.
Yeah, that's the
The
curse
remake
of
of a
remakes.
game we didn't get in Japan or in the West.
Right.
So
So I don't know. I mean, I think that, yeah, it obviously didn't return in Echoes, and I think 3 Houses, yeah, there may be incentive to replay the game, but maybe they'll keep it to where you don't. You know what? I don't know. I don't even know anymore, because if you don't, because there's definitely going to be chapters unique to each area, to
For
each
sure.
house.
Like, honestly,
So-
it really comes to the question: would you count playing the different Fates games as replays, or are they just different games?
Oh gosh,
We've been talking about that for a while, but
that
something we
that
kinda
is
have
the
to
question.
establish.
that's a good point. It's hard for me because when I
There
think
is
of
no right
Fates-
and wrong answer.
There is not.
Yeah, that's
You're
fair.
correct.
Yeah.
When I think of Fates, I think of Revelation because of how it has all the characters in it, all the storylines convene, and it's more of a complete game.
Yeah.
When I Birthright and Fates, or Conquest, sure, they have their moments and their own separate storylines, but I mean, it feels like filler when you compare it to what the actual story is supposed to be like. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah, and like I said, there's no right and wrong answer. One person will say one thing, another will say a different answer, or the other one. But one other, I guess, final topic we can discuss on the topic of replayability is what if Echo's games are games that we've already played, like in the 2000s?
I would totally play it again. No questions asked.
Yeah.
What about you, Chase?
I think that's because it's new content. It's different. It's not the same as it was before. Yeah, there'll be some similarities, but
I mean,
you look at Gaiden.
Yeah,
it's not the same.
Yeah, it's barely the same game.
But it's different than, because Gaiden was, what is the second Fire Emblem game, right?
Yeah.
It's different than that because I'm just talking about the Western releases. I'm not counting.
So you're saying a remake of, say, FE7, or a remake of
it's like
Path of Radiance.
It is a fresh new coat of paint, but it's not. I don't think it's anywhere near the jump that Gaiden to Valentia made.
Really, that really matters on if we're going to get a remake or a remaster.
Yeah,
because there's
true.
a stark difference between the two.
Yes, it's very true.
Right. So let's.
Zelda games are a testament to that.
Would you play a
Final Fantasy VII is even more extreme because they have one of each pretty much.
Would you play a remaster then as well of a game you played in the 2000s?
Honestly, I replay Fire Emblem games anyways, so of course I'd say yes.
So the answer is yes to that one too?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I would play a remaster of the... Well, I mean... Here, I'll set a scenario for you. If I knew that Nintendo kept Virtual Console and would have the Tellius games on the Switch, would I pay more money for a remaster of the Tellius games? I wouldn't know. For me personally, I would be fine paying a lesser price for the Virtual Console hypothetical version of the Tellius.
You're putting some interesting boundaries into the discussion because you're assuming that they would have a Virtual Console still, which they don't.
Hypothetically, anymore. I'm saying if they did.
I know you're saying hypothetically, but let's put it into more, I don't know, something that's happening right now. So let's say they were like, with their current system that they obviously don't have a Virtual Console on, they say, hey, we have remasters of the Tellius games. They're not.
Let's say at the E3 that has already happened by the time this episode releases.
Yeah.
They say that we are remaking Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn.
Okay, yeah. Let's say remake. Let's go with remake first. Okay, would you play that?
I don't know. I think I would. I think I would lean towards yes.
I would as well because, again, I don't think, especially Path of Radiance, has aged particularly well.
Yeah, you're right.
I think a remake would do wonders for it.
That is true. Yeah, that's the one that would benefit the most.
Now, what about a remaster?
Now that you've reminded me of how interesting that game looks. I mean, it looks fine, but it doesn't look great at the same time. Yeah, I would buy a remake more than a remaster to play the game, the title again.
What about you, Chase?
I haven't played either of them, so of course I.
Well, what about the DS games? What about the DS game?
Yeah, I would gladly play any actual release of New Mystery of the Emblem that's in English.
In English.
So basically, any Fire Emblem game re-release, either remaster, remake.
Yes, I would.
100%.
Like I said, I've already replayed Shadow Dragon. That's my least favorite Fire Emblem game.
There you go.
So
yeah,
actually, Shadow Dragon does provide a lot on replay value, though.
Personally, I think that remasters. It's hard for me. Especially since I've recently have played or am playing the Tellius games, which are probably the the most likely to get an HD remaster. I mean, I don't think they'd do an HD remaster of Blazing Blade, right? I mean,
Blazing Blade still looks really good for its age.
Yeah, I agree.
I would consider remakes would be Echo's games. Remasters would be their own separate moniker.
Yes.
Okay.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like I was thinking like a remaster isn't like Twilight Princess, Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Their remakes are really just remasters, just put into HD.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really changing up the gameplay. They're not really
now
changing
keep
Yeah.
in mind price
the
too.
map.
Like that obviously wouldn't be $50-$60.
Right. A lot better than what it is on the internet right now. So
Yeah.
I think that'd be fine. I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't go out of my way to get a remaster of Blazing Blade. If it was a remake, if it was like an Echoes Blazing Blade, I would day one be there. No
100%.
questions asked.
But what about like a $30 remaster on the Switch?
I would totally.
It would not be $30. It'd be $60. But if it was $30, yes.
You have no faith in Intelligent Systems Publishing.
No. Have you seen how much
It's more
they
like Nintendo, but
Have you seen how much DLC costs? Imagine a new game.
Yes, because you explained this to me before we started recording today.
yeah.
So yeah,
We need to have our DLC discussion. Maybe we'll do that in the future, but that'll be
we'll wait until after Three Houses comes out to do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what
they're doing
what
with
kind
the
of crap
DLC.
they try to sell us.
But yeah, we're starting to go a bit over time. So any closing thoughts you guys have?
I like how we didn't actually talk about any. Actually, no. I think we covered just about everything. Actually,
What were you going to say that we didn't touch on?
like just very specifically, what goes on in the Shadow Dragon playthrough that you can possibly do.
Oh,
I would like to hear that, to be honest.
Yeah. So I guess I've been talking to Steven about it, but maybe not you. In Shadow Dragon, there are paralogs, but those
Okay.
paralogs can only be achieved by killing off almost your entire army.
what?
Oh,
So
not Steven. Skylar, one of my friends, Skylar. He told me about that. That's a reason why he doesn't like
yes, so
Shadow Dragon.
to get to each of the paralogs except the last one, you need to have 15 or fewer units, and then
Oh my
to
gosh.
get to the last one, you have to either you have to both kill Tiki and not kill Garneth.
My lolly waifu?
I murdered Tiki.
Just kidding. Not my
Wow.
waifu.
Okay.
Not my
I
waifu.
guess James
Hashtag
and
not my
Chase
wife.
can no longer be
Yeah,
friends.
I'm pretty sure I actually lost a friend over that.
Wait, really?
Wow. I didn't actually lose a friend, but he was very mad at me.
For killing.
Well, it was
Tiki.
close then. All right.
But yeah.
What about you?
You did it for the good of the world.
Oh, just be happy that, and this isn't going to make sense to anyone who hasn't played Shadow Dragon. I was severely tempted to train Bantu up enough to kill Tiki himself. Which, for you guys to know, Bantu is more or less Tiki's grandfather.
Okay, I figured
Great.
it was like a mentor or something
Great.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
so I almost
James,
did that.
any closing thoughts?
If I had more time to replay Fire Emblem games, I would, but it would also have to be not as fresh in my mind, which is, to be fair, quite a bit of Fire Emblem games right now, except for the one I'm playing, Radiant Dawn.
Yeah.
And, like, even, it's gone at least a year between most of my replays of different games.
Well, there you go.
So,
And
It's time again.
I guess
And
so.
I guess for me, I'm a fairly new Fire Emblem fan. I played and watched the Talius games, I think, like 5 years ago or so. And I hopped on the 3DS train in the last 2 years. So, I mean, I would definitely be willing to revisit the older games while others replay the older games, like you, Chase. So who knows? Maybe in the future, I'll go back and play those anyway, just in case we don't get Echoes renditions or remasters. We'll see. Anyway, I guess we'll end it off here. James, where can people find you?
can find me on YouTube. If this is coming after E3, which we expect, I'll probably have a lot of garbage on Fire Emblem. So please watch it.
Chase, what about yourself?
You can also find me on YouTube. Link on the screen and in the description. Triforce P. I have no idea what I'll be doing at this point. I guess Pokemon Gen 2 video? I don't know.
Yeah, again, we are recording this
Intriguing.
on May
A full
18th.
month ahead of time.
So, yeah.
Be prepared.
And you can find me on our other podcasts here on Three Kingdoms Entertainment, Kakariko Road, where myself, Chase, and another one of our hosts, Petter, talk about the Legend of Zelda series. And then, why not check out the Third Reel podcast, where Petter and another one of our hosts, Patrick, talk about movies. If you enjoyed listening to this episode, feel free to click the like button and maybe subscribe to the channel. But I guess that's all for now. Have a good week.
Goodbye.
Bye.